Greetings, fellow earthlings, and welcome to Tales from the Hoop, a podcast dedicated to diving into the weird, wild, and wacky stories from basketball history. I am your host, Ricky Freck, and today I'm telling a story about America to my brother.
Flavor Dave.
Did you say Flavor Dave?
That's right. It's Thanksgiving week,
I
so
don't, I
it's
don't,
time to make the good fixins.
I don't think you should do that. That
They
sounds oddly sexual, and I don't like
sit
it.
on that one. Sexual? Oh,
Yeah, I'm saying. I don't like that at
for
all.
grilling. Come on.
Ugh, I don't want you to grill anything, please.
Oh no. Oh
Um,
no.
okay. So today we're going to talk about the New York Americans, which are the
Oh, okay.
third to last team in the ABA. So we should be done by Christmas time. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Very tired this week. I'm a single dad this week, everybody. Me and the dog. Wife is
Oh
gone
no.
for a week.
New
So
York Americans. That's like the perfect name.
well, got bad
It
news
didn't
for
it
you.
didn't go so perfect.
Uh, well, you could argue. It just the name doesn't last very long.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm a little tired. This one is we didn't even I don't even have any quotes for this one. I'm so tired. I just kind of read and then wrote
Hmm.
and got
Okay.
it over with and didn't want to read it. I have a couple quotes, but nothing. There's actually nothing in here from Loose Balls, Terry Pluto's story. It all comes from remembering the ABA and a few supplemental
Oh.
newspaper articles. But
We
let's
still
go
love you,
ahead.
Terry Pluto.
Yeah, Terry Pluto, you're the godfather of this podcast or something. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. The New York Americans were one of the original ABA teams in 1967, and they were started by Arthur Brown. And I gotta say, it was a little confusing to write this whole thing about Arthur Brown because I am also currently working on the All USA football team from 2007, where Kansas State Big 12 defensive player of the year, Arthur Brown, is a linebacker in that
Isn't there
class.
another famous Arthur Brown, or is this the guy I'm thinking of? I thought
I
there was like currently a sports owner or something that
oh um maybe
maybe I'm
this
just
guy
mixing him up with the Brown family of the Cleveland and Cincinnati Browns, Bengals.
is that oh maybe I don't know. They're the Browns? That's what they're called, the Browns? Wait,
Because
hold
of
on.
Paul Brown, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think Paul Brown was like their legendary coach, and then he went to go found the Bengals, but they the team, the Cleveland team was like so honored or something, so they named the team after him.
Huh.
The Cleveland Browns are named after a guy who also started the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't remember his name. I think it's Paul Brown, but
Okay.
um that all of that is 99.5% true.
Okay. I don't think Arthur Brown is involved in that. I was
Okay.
kind of looking it up because I do know that one of their other owners later was heavily involved in the NHL, but I don't really
Okay.
talk about that, so I didn't include it. So I had to check if it was him, but it's not him.
Okay.
Anyway, so Arthur Brown is here to start it. The reason that they wanted him to start the team and be involved is that he had been running a bunch of AAU teams which are back in the day, not modern day AAU teams. In the back in the day, they were semi-pro teams all over New York City. So they thought, this guy knows the location, he knows basketball, he can help us enter this very lucrative market. Of course, as you probably have already guessed, in New York, there was already an NBA team, the good old Knicks.
Yeah. We know them.
We know and hate them.
We hate
And,
them?
well,
You hate them.
I really don't like Jalen Brunson. Not as a human being, as a basketball player. I don't know him as a human being. I'm sure he's fine.
I think he's a great human being. I love his appearances on WWE.
You
Seems
do?
like, yeah, he seems like
I'm going
he
to be
loves having a
honest.
good time.
If someone appears on WWE, that makes me think less of them.
Oh, why? It's fun. It's just like get out there and the fact that him and Tyrese did it like together as a part of their feud, I love that.
Do you know anything about modern day WWE and like their business dealings?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you should look those
I
things
mean
up.
they like have shows in Saudi Arabia, right?
That's a little more than that now. It's
Oh,
a little
okay. Well,
bit more than
doesn't
that.
I'm just not like to admonish them of guilt, but doesn't every single person do that now? Like, there's a
I,
flag football tournament there, and there's a golf league, and I
I guess
mean,
so. I just think if you're gonna get in bed with WWE, you should, consider what you're getting in bed with, and maybe don't.
didn't
Personally, Cam Scatabo,
okay.
I liked you. What happened?
Oh, I don't know what he did either.
He was on WWE. I'm just joking.
And WWE's that bad?
Uh,
I mean,
I I, I think
like
so.
got
I think it's pretty terrible
they got rid of Vince McMahon, and he was pretty terrible,
for
right?
now.
Oh, you think he's coming back?
Probably. Why
Oh
not?
my
It's Vince
God.
McMahon and it's
Because
WWE.
the things he did were
Have you
insane.
seen the things Hulk Hogan did and came back?
Well, they booed him, right?
Well, yeah, well, they're gonna boom Vince McMahon, but who cares?
It
Have you
was
seen?
Hulk
Have you?
Hogan died, right? Vince McMahon is not dead.
Is Hulk Hogan dead?
I think he died, yeah.
Oh man, rest in peace, brother. But really,
So
don't. You suck. Um,
someone who will remain unnamed texted me like, "Oh, that's so sad," and I was like, "You don't know anything about Hulk Hogan, do you?" Post like 1980
he's a
to
real American.
yeah,
I have guesses, and I have to know who this is after our podcast because I
yeah.
think I know who this is, but I want to make sure. Okay, so the Knicks existed. Jalen Brunson did not. I don't even think his dad was alive at this point. Oh, what's his dad's name? His dad was a good basketball player. He played in the NBA.
If you said it, I would know, but maybe Richard, something like that.
Yeah, Richard or
Yeah,
Rick Brunson.
yeah,
That's Rick.
Rick.
Okay, so the New York Knicks were there. So
Okay.
Brown was like, "Oh man, I can't find an arena. What are we gonna do here in New York?" So they went to a place called the Teaneck Armory in
Hmm.
beautiful New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately for them, the New Jersey National Guard Armory had an expansive floor and high ceilings, so it actually worked pretty well. And later, it was so good looking, well, not maybe not good looking, but so striking, it was used as a location in several Hollywood movies, including You've Got Mail.
Oh, okay. Interesting and weird.
But in 1967, it was the home of the Americans, who, because of the last second arena selection, renamed themselves the New Jersey Americans.
Oh, okay. I was like, don't rename yourself before you play a game. Let's go.
But I'm going to let you know, we have already talked about several teams who have done that.
I know, which is why I'm scared.
All right. So
I
the
want an
team,
Americans jersey. I don't even know what it looks like, but
well, I don't know if you're going to find one. Maybe
damn.
Mitchell and Ness would make them. I don't know.
Okay.
I
All
feel
right.
like they weren't around long enough that you're going to find one of them.
Yeah.
Because as you'll,
Also, these days, I don't need to be repping America anyways. Yeah.
okay, these days. But
Ideally, it's a cool name,
and
but
yet you're still a big Triple H fan somehow. Weird.
I I don't know anything about Triple H.
Well,
I like the company, not
you should look into this stuff.
okay.
The team was pretty dreadful at first, so management immediately started to make some trades. First, they brought in our friend, and um, I think we've talked about him before, Laverne Jelly Tart from the
Yeah,
Oakland Oaks.
I know Jelly Tart.
You really seem mad about that.
I have a terrible memory as established.
Uh huh.
And I what you mentioned something and I was like, "Oh, we've talked about Jelly Tart." And you're like, "There's no one named Jelly Tart." And it you like
Oh,
now I'll never remember anything because the one time I do remember something, you made me feel bad about it. So,
oh, sorry. You should never feel bad about stuff that I say. I'm just a dumb idiot.
well, I remember Jelly Tart. He's good. He's really good.
You're correct. At the time, he was leading the ABA in scoring at 26.7 points a night.
Whack. Give him a three-pointer. Oh, wait, they had a
They
three-pointer.
had a
Sorry.
three-pointer.
Yep, my bad.
So with him and Tony Jackson, who was a former All-American at St. John's, pouring in buckets, New Jersey finished the season with a 36 and 42 record. So not great,
Okay.
but four teams from each division made the playoffs, and
Okay. Yep.
they were tied with Kentucky for the fourth best record. So they had to play a one-game elimination matchup to decide who would be the last team in the playoffs. And it was decided that they would play the game in New Jersey, but there was one very small problem. See, Arthur Brown didn't like spending a lot of money, and
Okay. Yeah. No
he
way.
he assumed that the team would not make the playoffs because they started the season so poorly.
Okay.
So he did not book the Teaneck during the playoffs.
Oh, great.
So the
What a
Teaneck,
jack.
the arena that the Americans were playing in that season,
Hmm.
had an event that the night the game was scheduled because the carnival was coming through town.
Oh, great.
And
Can we
it had
not put
booked
that in the parking lot? Come on.
it had booked the arena for the whole. Can you imagine? That's like what the Mavs want to do now with a casino instead of a carnival. Just put the
Mm,
casino out front and
yep.
have people walk through the casino and
Good
that'd be
Lord.
wild. Go to a carnival and then go into the game. That'd be so. I think the carnival would make a lot of money doing that. They should have made the switch.
I
Anyways,
I believe in sports gambling. I think it should be legal but regulated.
huh?
I don't know that I believe in having a way to bet in the arena. I think that's so like that's such a slippery slope. I guess you're on your phone. You can
Okay,
do it on your
Kami,
phone.
whatever you
So
say.
yeah, I'm probably wrong, but that just seems nuts to like if you put the big poster in there, it's like come gamble before you go watch your game. Have you seen that clip going around of the talking heads on, I believe it was ESPN, maybe
Probably.
another network, but they're
Uh-huh.
like talking about Chauncey Billups and how terrible this gambling epidemic is, and then it
Mm,
cuts to an ESPN bet
mm-hmm.
commercial.
Yeah. I've
It's
definitely
like,
seen clips where they were like had to scramble to get the ad off the screen while they were talking
yeah,
about stuff.
yeah, we're so close to idiocracy.
It's bad. It's really bad. Did you see this? This is unrelated completely, but did you see? I don't remember which player it was. I think he played for the Giants in the NFL, and he doesn't know who Stephen A. Smith is, or he doesn't know the show.
Hmm.
It would like broke Stephen A. Smith's brain.
Oh yeah,
That
I
man has
bet.
such an ego. He
I
was
bet.
like, "What do you mean you don't know who I am? I'm the most famous man in sports."
Oh God.
No, no one. The only people that watch you are like, I don't know, if I'm sitting at my getting my oil changed and it's on mute. Like that's the only time I ever see him when it's on a
Yeah,
clip.
I've been actively trying to forget who he was for like 15 years.
Just wait until he becomes our next president.
Oh boy. No.
All right, so the Americans had to scramble. They had to do something, and they settled on a place called Comac Arena on Long Island. Now, here's the thing about Comac Arena.
I love Long Island. This is great.
When the fans and players showed up on game day, they were greeted by a very chaotic scene.
Okay.
Workers, as we headed into game time, were still trying to lay down tape for a 3-point line,
Okay.
and parts of the floor were filled with holes. So Laverne Tart, there's just him. He listed off some of the problems. He said one basket seemed a little higher than the other,
Okay.
and the 25-foot arc looked a little crooked, and there wasn't any padding on the backboards or base basket supports. It looks like things have been put up too quickly. There was one person that said if you stepped on one side of the floor, the other side would go up.
Okay. Nice.
So it was not a great place to be playing basketball.
As
This,
long as both teams get an equal amount of time at the right sized hoop, it should be fine.
yeah, maybe. But unfortunately, despite the conditions, the Americans were suited up and ready to play, and most of the Kentucky Cardinals refused to dress.
Oh,
So they
wow.
refused to play in the game.
Okay.
ABA Commissioner George Mikan was called, and ultimately it was decided that the Americans were forced to forfeit the game.
Oh, wow. You would think like replay at a different site. Damn.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Now,
Okay.
you before we get there, you might be wondering, what about those fans that showed up? Right? They paid money, so
Yeah.
we got to give them a refund. 400 people had shown up for the big matchup.
Okay.
The problem was that New Jersey had given out several complimentary tickets to
Okay.
about 100 of them. Unfortunately, when the forfeit was announced, most of the fans, of course, wanted refunds, and quite a few of the ones who had gotten complimentary tickets went and got a refund.
Oh, no. Okay.
So the team just paid money to people they didn't have to because it was such a mass of people that the ticket people were just like, yeah, we'll refund your money and refund it to everybody.
Good
So
Lord. You love to see it.
after the game, Brown raised a stink with the league office, almost convincing them to replay the game in Minnesota. Now, you might be wondering why Minnesota. They were going to have to play the Minnesota, not Lakers. Who are the Minneapolis team? What were they called? Because they left almost immediately to go to Florida. The Muskies. They were going to play
Hmm.
the Muskies in the first round, whoever won the game. So they figured we'll play it in Minnesota, and then you'll just start your first round matchup. But the efforts by Brown fell through. Then he went in the news and disparaged Comac Arena, saying that the team would never play there again. Then he decided, you know what? The team can't survive in New Jersey. We have to move to New York. So they moved him to New York. They renamed them the New York Nets, and then they had to find a place to play their home games for the second season. So where did you think they went?
The Armory thing?
No, Comac Arena, back to the place
Oh,
that they had to
sorry.
forfeit all their
Sorry. Yeah.
games. So you might be wondering, right? Why would they call the Nets? Why the Nets? It's a lame name, right? I mean, of course there's some basketball stuff there, but why call them the Nets? Any guesses? It's a boring
I mean,
name.
it's literally the basketball net.
So that's why you think. I mean, not a bad reason, right? But not. It's still
Surely it's
pretty
not
boring.
like a fish related,
No,
fishing
it's not.
related
It's not fish related.
nets. Is it short for something?
No.
I can't think of anything interesting other than the basketball net.
I mean,
If it's not the basketball nets, then they're stupid.
you're not wrong. That is part of the reason. But the biggest reason they wanted to be the Nets is because they thought if their name rhymed with the Mets and the Jets, they'd bring in more fans.
Oh my god, dude. The ABA is it's I understand this every week better and better, but it's like their existence was literally just like a scheme to get purchased by
Yes, that you're
like it's such a thrown together haphazard piece of bullcrap. No offense.
you are 100% correct. That was most of the reason most of these owners wanted a team was to try to get into the NBA.
It's like a penny stock. You're just praying that it
Trying to,
goes.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're just trying to force themselves into the bigger league.
I should have seen that coming. I should have said, "What's the dumbest reason you could name a team the Nets?"
So during that first season, the Nets went 17 and 61, giving them the worst record in the league.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I really thought about it, but I didn't write them down because I knew you wouldn't know 90% of them. But
What year
23,
was it?
1968, oh, 1969.
So they were tanking for Rick Barry. I don't know. I don't know who the
Ah,
rookies were.
you're sort of close,
Look at that.
but not in the way you think.
Okay.
I didn't list all these players, but 23 different players suited up for the Nets that season, which seems like a lot, especially back then when people were playing. I was looking at a thing the other day, and I might have sent this to you, so I apologize. That who was it? It wasn't Wilt Chamberlain. Well, first of all, Wilt Chamberlain averaged 48.5 points per game over an entire season one time.
Points or minutes?
Minutes, sorry, minutes per game. 48.5. That's more minutes than are in a basketball game.
Right. Yeah. He just never left, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he just play in overtime. And there was another guy who it was like 49 in the playoffs, which is wild. So that means they like that's only 7 games, right? So you have to like so many
I
games
mean
all the games had to go to overtime.
the pace was like a lot slower, right? Like there wasn't as much.
Um, sometimes. I mean, I don't know when it flips back and forth, right? Because by then they had the shot clock, so it
Okay.
wasn't that slow.
Okay.
But it was slow. It was at times slower, but then I think in this era is pretty fast.
Hmm.
I'd have to look to be sure because I don't know exactly when stuff switches, but
Yeah.
it's definitely I think in the 60s and 70s it was faster than the 80s and 90s,
Hmm.
and then it
Okay.
sped back up. Like I think it went up,
I'm just
down,
wondering how
up.
these guys have whole careers where they play 48 minutes a game,
I have
you
no
know?
idea. Wilt
They're
Chamberlain is he's
built different back then.
Wilt Chamberlain is built different. I think that, and apologies to all of our listeners, I'm going to get a little crude here.
Oh
I
no.
think that what must have happened is he had like a protective layer of all his STDs that just
Oh
like
boy.
covered his body and protected him.
Okay. God.
So yeah, so 23
Anyway.
players played for the Nets that year, and attendance was, as you'd expect, pretty terrible.
Yeah.
On December 25th, Christmas Day, 1968, 249 people showed up to watch them play the Denver Rockets. Then, a few days later, Rick Barry and the Oakland Oaks came to town. 3,814 people came to the arena. So it wasn't a team problem, it was a player problem, right?
Hmm.
because besides the attendance bump from having Rick Barry, the only thing that was notable that happened was that was the game where Kenny Wilburn undercut Barry in the fourth quarter, and the star had a season-ending knee injury. So it wasn't a notable game. It was just because Rick Barry was there, and that
Hmm.
was proven the next game because you might think, oh, it's things are on the look up, right? We just had
Yep.
almost 4,000 fans. The next game, 516 people showed up. So
Oof.
it was
Brutal.
not. It was just a star problem, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, okay, I said it was just a star problem. I'm lying a little bit there, and by lying, I mean I thought ahead of myself, and then I had to read, and I forgot that there was one other problem with the
Oh,
team.
okay. Okay.
So of course there's no stars, so that meant they lost all the time. But on top of that, Comac Arena was just not a good place to be.
Hmm.
It was essentially a freezing cold airplane hangar. In 1969, Basketball Weekly, which is an old magazine, I know kids, that's a thing, used to happen. They had magazines. It's crazy.
Weekly. That's nuts. A
Yeah,
magazine every month seems fine, but weekly is.
weekly.
I guess how else are you gonna get your news?
Yeah, like US Weekly. But for basketball. That was what was
Yeah.
happening. So this is what they said. They said the court at Comac is placed over an ice rink, and at times moisture seeps through the floor. Also, the areas behind the basket are not fully covered, and players driving in for layups often wind up on the ice. The Nets' Laverne Tart suffered a broken cheekbone when he took a dive on the ice. So they're
Good
literally
Lord.
playing on ice.
Yeah, that's nuts. I
The
love it.
are- you, yeah, that was when men were men.
Okay.
The arena was so cold. Some opposing teams had to wear overcoats and gloves while sitting on the sidelines.
Good Lord.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine?
Okay. Fun, fun, fun.
So after the season, head coach Mac Zavlosky left the team, and Arthur Brown decided he didn't want to have anything to do with them, so he sold them to Roy Bowe. Now, you don't know anything about
Whoa.
Roy Bowe, I'm sure, but he had just recently sold his women's undergarments company
Okay.
for several million dollars.
What was it called?
I think it was called like Bose. It was Bose something. Hold on, I'll look it up. Bose. Gosh, I don't remember.
Roy Bow. I like it better as like one name altogether. Roy Bow.
It's also so it's when you look him up, he's a old white man, but the picture of him is one of his players on Google
Hmm.
for some reason. He was the owner of. It doesn't say. Oh, Bo Jests. Women's. Oh,
Bow
maybe not. Maybe it wasn't
Jests.
undergarments. Maybe it's just clothing.
Oh,
Bo
okay.
Jests.
Bow Jests.
But he before this had been part of the team that was called the Westchester Bulls in the Atlantic Coast Football League. As you can probably guess, that didn't go very well.
The Westchester Bulls. I love that name.
But besides this Nets purchase, he would also purchase the Islanders in the NHL.
Okay.
So he was kind
Great
of
purchase.
he was a big sports guy.
Sports guy, yeah.
So he wasn't afraid to spend money. He had plenty of it, and he wanted to make his team good. So his first move was to move the team from Comac Arena to the Island Garden on Long Island.
Okay.
Um, Reports at the time, of course, I've never been there, was that it was a cozy arena where every seat was said to be a good one. So you couldn't have a bad
All
seat
right.
in Island Garden. A big step up from Comac Arena.
Love that. Good for the fans.
They didn't really make a bunch of big player movements that year. They brought in some guys, but even still, with guys like Laverne Tart, Les Big Game Hunter, Bill Melchione, and Easy Ed Johnson, the Nets improved to 39 wins. So a
We
big
got to get
improvement.
back to everyone having a nickname like this.
Yeah, like good ones.
Yeah, I feel like only superstars get nicknames in the NBA and
I think there's a couple issues, right? I think one, Chris Berman does not do basketball. That's a problem.
okay, yeah.
We need a guy basketball needs their Chris Berman to give good
Yeah.
nicknames. Two, we there's so many nicknames have already been given out. That's the other
Mm.
problem, right? Is we almost need a new sport to be invented because
Is it's just you're like recycling old things, is what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, of course, a lot of people don't know some people's nickname, but you couldn't call like I'm just trying to think. Well, I was gonna say the stilt, but I don't. Wilt is still works because his name is Wilt. So you'd have to
Yeah.
have another guy that was very tall named Wilt. So that doesn't really work. But like the glove, you can't call someone else the glove, right?
Yeah.
You can't call someone else. I almost said a one that I'm not supposed to say, so I won't say it. You can't
Okay.
call someone else the Rain Man.
Okay.
You can't call someone else
There's
Shaq
other
Diesel.
like just look up synonyms for those things. So like you could call someone clamps.
I did see someone named, they called someone, I think it's Patrick Williams, is named the Paw.
The paw.
Terrible.
Yeah, I
Horrible.
don't love that.
Not as bad
Um,
as the worst nickname in sports currently going is, I believe it's Dak Prescott.
Rain?
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
What is Rain?
I think that's his like birth name.
Oh,
Rayne.
okay.
And so I've always said make it rain. Like I thought that was his nickname.
So, as you probably know, if you go on Pro Football Reference or Pro Basketball Reference,
Yeah,
they'll just
they have the
list,
nicknames.
they'll just list, but
Random nicknames.
yeah,
Like
so it's like one person called them this one time.
on Twitter. Yeah, it's not even
Yeah.
a meaningful thing. Yeah.
So relatively famously, I guess not that famous. Maybe it's just in, my weird sports people circles. Dak
Okay.
Prescott's nickname is the Fortress.
Oh, the fortress.
Who's ever called him that? No one. No one's ever called him the
I've
Fortress.
never heard that.
But somehow, and like the other problem is players don't even accept their nicknames, right? Kevin Durant had some great
Oh
nicknames,
yeah, he hates the Slim
and
Reaper.
he won't take the Slim Reaper. He's got to be like the Forgiveness or whatever. What is his name? The stupid thing that he wanted to be?
The disciple
The Disciple. Yeah, what a dummy.
or the servant? I don't
The
remember.
Servant. What a dummy.
Okay, so Dak's full name.
Hmm.
I'm on Pro Football Reference. Rain Dakota Prescott. In parentheses, the fortress.
Yeah, the Fortress. Yeah, but I do think that's part of the problem is so many nicknames are already taken. We need a new sport. Or we just need we so the other thing is like once Gary Payton dies, then no one's going to care as much,
Hmm.
right? So we just need these old guys to die.
Yeah.
And no offense, I love Gary Payton.
If
I mean
more people would die, our
he's a bit
nickname
of a
game would be
hothead,
way
but
better.
yeah, if we would do like the 25 or what's the in time rule, but make it like 65 where like you just had to your 65 and then you die, we'd have a
Sure.
lot better nicknames. And
Sure.
that's what's important. So,
Right. Right. I think they should make the sacrifice.
I mean, it would help a lot of things. Okay,
Okay,
so
back to
then Bo made his biggest splash yet in 1971, bringing in Rick Barry from the Virginia Squires. So, as we've talked about before, the Squires were always hurting for money, which is why they traded like all of their players, right? They traded. We talked last time out. We talked about the Dallas Chaparrals, or by the time we were talking about them when it mattered, San Antonio Spurs, who had gotten George Gervin from the Squires and several, and I think they got Sven Nader from the squad. Like just got Squires needed money. They all, never could pay their dues, so they were just trading players wholesale. So they traded them Rick Barry. Um,
okay.
in 1971, under Lou Carnesecca, who's a college coach that you probably don't know, but he's pretty famous. The Nets won 40 games, and Barry finished in fifth for MVP voting with nearly 30 points a night. The next year, Barry kept dominating, taking the Nets all the way to the ABA Finals against the Pacers, where they did lose, but you can't get too mad about finishing as the second best team in the league after 2 years previously having the worst record. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
turnaround.
Yeah. On the up and up.
So we're in 1973. Rick Barry wants to come back and play. The problem is that the NBA and the Golden State Warriors were taking the Nets to court and were trying to get Rick Barry to
Yeah,
force
yeah,
him to
yeah.
come back to the
We've talked
NBA.
about this
Yeah.
previously.
So the Nets were dealt a massive blow by the U.S. court system, and it was ruled that if Barry wanted to play basketball that year, he'd have to play for the Golden State Warriors.
Well, and he kind of was like fudging it up too, right?
Well, with not so much with the Nets. When he was with the Squires, he didn't
Like
want to
he
play
wanted
there.
out of his contract, so he
That,
was
but
like,
yeah, yes, but that was with the squad. He didn't want to live in Virginia, so he made some comments. He was like,
yeah,
"I
yeah,
can't wait
yeah,
for my kids to say y'all" or something like making fun of people from the South. Which it's
yeah.
funny because I don't consider Virginia the South, but I guess if you are as they say, a damn Yankee, that's what
That's
you
right.
think.
That's right.
But I don't think he cared as much about living in New York City. I think he was fine there.
Hmm.
But the Golden State Warriors did force him out, and he could have sat out the year and joined the Nets in '74, but he'd already done that song and dance in 1968 with the Oaks. So he said, you know what, just forget it. I'm just going to go play for the Warriors. And so in '73, the Warriors, or the not the Warriors, sorry, the what team are we? The Nets
Yep.
didn't have any good players, and so they struggled to barely get to 30 wins.
Dang.
So Bo decided, you know what, it's time to make a rebuild. So he sent Lou Carnesecca back to St. John's, and he
Okay.
brought in a guy. He brought in a coach named Kevin Lowry to take over. Then he traded George Carter, Kermit Washington, and quite a bit of cash to who else? The Virginia Squires
Hmm.
for Willie Sojourner and a guy named Julius Irving.
Ooh, I like to see it.
They also signed a couple of great young players like John Williamson, Bill Schaefer, and most importantly, Larry Keenan, who's a guy you might not know, but would later become like a Spurs legend. And he's also like a very good 2K player, which
Hmm.
is how I ended up knowing quite a few of these guys. Is I'm like, oh, he's good in 2K. I mean, I know that
Oh, I'm
most
sorry. You're
other
saying their
no,
attributes make
he's
for a
not good at
good.
playing 2K. I
Yeah.
don't think.
Okay.
I doubt he's ever played, but he is
I
a great
heard it
player
that
in
way, and I
2K.
was like, he's a good 2K player, and that's how you know him?
No, I know him because he's fun to play as in
Got it.
NBA
Yeah, yeah,
2K.
yeah. My bad.
So with Dr. J and Keenan leading the way, the Nets rolled to an ABA title. They lost only 2 games in that year's playoffs, and Irving took home the MVP award of the regular season with 27 points, 11 rebounds, 2.3 steals, and 2.4 blocks a game, which is a wild stat line.
That's nuts. Yeah.
And from there, the story, at least for our purposes, becomes kind of boring. Um, Dr. J wins the next 2 MVPs. The Nets make the ABA Finals both seasons, winning again in 1967, which is the last year of the ABA's existence. So very good for them, but doesn't really. There's not a lot of fun stories from that period. If you're like us and only care about the muck, right? We
Yeah.
don't care about the good times.
Yeah.
So the
Gross.
ABA and the NBA then merged in 1976, and the Nets really wanted to join the league, but the Knicks demanded that they pay them a $4.8 million invasion fee.
Invasion. Oh my God. Yeah, because I mean, obviously you don't notice at the time, but it's like the Nets are going to be a joke, so I think it's fine to just let them in.
Well, so you, in some ways, are not thinking of this how you should be thinking of it if you're the Knicks in 1976. Because yes, the Nets become a joke, but the reason they become a joke is because of what we're going to talk about. Remember, this team had what is
Yeah, the
the best
two-time
player in
MVP.
basketball.
Yep.
So that invasion fee was going to be on top of the fee, the 3.2 million that they had to pay just to join the league. Everybody had to pay
Dang.
a
Yeah.
fee to join the league. So what Bo did is he tried to talk the Knicks into taking Dr. J and waiving the fee. You get the best player in the ABA, and we don't have to pay you $4.8 million.
Yeah. That sounds like a great idea.
Now, of course, we know history. The
Ugh.
Knicks refused.
Dang.
Now, they
Good for
probably,
them.
yeah, so they probably, because of probably if they had made the trade, the Knicks probably would have had to give up a couple players. But can you imagine a Knicks team that had Dr. J at the wing, Bob McAdoo at center, Earl Monroe, Walt Frazier at guards, and then Spencer Haywood as your backup center?
Yeah.
Seems like a gigantic, catastrophic miss by the Knicks.
Yeah.
And even despite that, Bo could not keep Irving because of his contract demands and all the money he had to pay. So he had to
Hmm.
trade him anyways. So he sent him to the 76ers.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So the Nets did make it through the merger. They did have a team, but they lost their best player to the 76ers. And then Bo decided, you know what? I'm just going to move the Nets back to New Jersey. They're going to make it the New Jersey Nets in 1978. And then he sold the team later that season and got out and just focused on the Islanders for a while. And for what it's worth, the Nets would not make it back to the finals until 2002, and the Knicks had to wait until 1994 when Michael Jordan was taking his gambling break. And to date, neither team has won a championship.
Yeah. Crazy. They probably would have won three.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly how the league was looking in 1976, but I know that in like 79 and 78, those were like weird years. Like the Sonics won. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah.
Weird
The
years.
Blazers won, the Sonics won, the Sixers won in the early 80s.
Yeah. So if they had had, if they had been able to have Dr. J in New York, that would have been crazy.
Yeah. Sheesh.
But unfortunately,
That's like a pretty big sliding doors. I've never heard that mentioned as like one of the all-time sliding doors moments, but
I mean, I don't know what his contract would have been, right? So I don't know if maybe it was a deal where like, oh, yeah, we waive the fee and then we have to pay him millions of dollars or whatever, so it isn't worth it to us. I don't know. Again, I don't know exactly how it would work out, but if you have a chance to sign one of the top, I don't know, 15 or 20 players in the in NBA history at hit the peak of his powers, I think you should probably take that chance.
yeah, absolutely. Crazy. No matter what the cost.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is the story of how the Nets became the Nets. Unfortunately, still terrible.
Nets, Mets, and Jets.
Yeah, such a dumb thing. It makes me so mad.
Also crazy that they're all so bad. I mean, the
Well,
Mets are like good now, right? Or
so the Mets,
on the way.
the Mets. What I will say is like at least I guess the Nets technically did win in the 70s, so I guess it's pretty much the same. I was gonna say at least the Jets and the Mets have won before, but they've won, so have the Nets, I guess technically, but because the Mets have won a World Series in
Yeah.
like what, like 82?
I don't know.
The Jets won, I mean the Jets won in like the 60s or whatever
Yeah.
with Joe Namath. Um, but what was your question? I completely lost
Have
it.
the aren't the Mets good now?
Yes. So they did just get a new owner who's like Steve Ballmer of baseball. Like
Oh, okay.
he's like has more money than everybody. And he's not like he's basically he said like I'm willing to spend whatever it takes, but also like to some degree you have to be able to develop players. It can't just be like going out and signing everybody, which is
Yeah.
kind of not true in baseball. You kind of can just outbid everybody
I was gonna
because there
say the
is no
Dodgers
salary.
just outbid everybody. Yeah.
But it is a little bit true. Like it's not sustainable, right? Like the Dodgers are going to be good for for a few years, but eventually it's just not.
Right.
It doesn't work, right? And so I think he's doing it the smart way. He is like bringing in a lot of players that are very good and making them good, but also like trying to build up the farm system too. And that is one thing the Dodgers have an advantage over everybody. Is not so much the farm system, but players from Japan want to play for the Dodgers.
Is that just because of Shohei, or is
I
that
think it's
like an LA thing?
I think it's an LA thing, and I think it's both.
Oh,
But
okay.
the Dodgers have the Dodgers have previously also brought in a lot of Japanese players before, even
Oh,
Shohei, right?
okay.
Like Yamamoto, the
Was he
pitcher.
before Shohei?
I think so.
Okay.
Matsui, I think, started with the Dodgers before he went to the Yankees. Um, so I think they have like kind of a, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because they're closest,
Yeah.
I think.
Geographically
Like
speaking.
the Angels, the Dodgers. I mean, maybe the Padres. I guess the Mariners, of course, was Ichiro, but the Mariners are a weird team because they have like a partnership with Nintendo.
Oh,
They have a Nintendo
interesting.
patch,
Hmm.
so or they had like a Nintendo Switch 2 patch last year.
Hmm.
So they're like because Nintendo is in the Nintendo office is in Seattle,
Seattle. Yeah.
so they have that partnership. So yeah, I mean it's interesting. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way in basketball. You can't just be the Knicks and live close to Europe and get all the European players.
Yeah. No, I don't think. Maybe like in free agency after they've been in the league for 10 years, but even then, it doesn't really happen.
No, it doesn't seem like there's really a thing like that in any way. I mean, because like players will even go to Oklahoma. That was what they always said, right? They were like, no one will want to go to Oklahoma,
I mean,
but
only
player
one guy has done it.
as a free agent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Only
really?
one meaningful player has
I guess they
ever.
do get trades. I guess most of those guys are trades.
Yeah, Hartenstein is like the best guy that's ever signed with OKC as a free agent.
Yeah, and he fits in, if
And
you know
he
what I mean.
also had his offer over what he was getting in New York was like 30-40% more. So
Wow.
he
Yeah,
kind of had to take it.
I guess that's true. I guess I wasn't. I guess it's mostly trades. Now that you bring it up, I guess I'm
I
wrong.
think the NBA has a weird thing with, this might be true of other sports leagues. I just follow the NBA contract free agent landscape the most.
Hmm.
But I feel like you either go to the Lakers or Clippers. Like you want to be in LA,
Yeah.
or you want to go to Florida, Texas. I think there's one more non-state tax
Mm,
state, and so players will like go sign their big contract with whatever team drafted them,
yeah.
and then later on in their career, they're like, I'm just going to go to Texas, one of the Texas teams or one of the Florida teams, and not pay state tax.
I guess I just don't understand that. I don't understand that mindset. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. It
Because
seems like a good idea.
monetarily, sure, of course. But like if you are an NBA player who is getting two contracts, three contracts, I guess by that point, right? Because you've signed your big deal after
Yeah,
your rookie deal. If you're good enough to get three contracts, that means you're probably like an above average NBA player, right?
yeah.
So that means you could contribute pretty well to a winning team, right?
Oh, yeah,
So I would think it would be worth it more in the long run to be uh at least a one-time champion than it would be to go make what, 30 million,
yeah, an extra.
an extra
Yeah,
30 million.
yeah.
I
I
feel
think
like
the
but I mean that's me being like, I have never, you know, like the most expensive thing I've ever wanted in my life is like $15,000. You know what I mean? I don't, there's not
yeah,
anything I'm like, oh, I need a huge house. Oh, I mean, I would drive a Lamborghini, don't get me wrong, but oh, I need the newest Lamborghini. Like I don't ever think that way. So to me, it's like, oh, I want the legacy, not the money.
yeah. My like alternative, like if I was going to play devil's advocate, I would say if you're on your third contract, you're like entering your 30s.
Yeah. But that's when you
You're
should be, that's when you should be Chris Pauling around the league. You should be trying
hun-
to like,
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying where I'm at in my life, I've made, we'll call it $100 million, and now I could go make an extra whatever, we'll call it
yeah,
$30 million. And I probably have kids, and my
yeah,
wife is like, hey, I want like you're either gonna go live in an apartment in New York, or you're gonna go buy like an extra $5 million will get you like a mansion with when wherever you want it to be in Dallas versus New York, which is gonna be like an insane. Obviously it money doesn't matter at that level, but
yeah,
like you're still paying a lot more money to
yeah,
live in a big city versus it's not even just the taxes. It's like um what am I trying to say? You probably have to get a driver if you live in like a big city like that.
yeah.
And like if you're just in Dallas, like your wife can just like take care of your gigantic mansion house and take care of all your kids and you live in like a gated community. Like those things just don't exist in like New York and LA. And so
Yeah, but you're saying I would go make my money in New York or LA, but or I'm saying I want to go win. I'm not going to New York to win. Are you kidding me?
no, I'm saying the off the court lifestyle that they're entering is
Oh,
like have kids, get them in a good school, live in a safe neighborhood versus like there isn't really. I don't know. I've been to New York one time, so I can't. But if you're living in Manhattan, like it's all skyscrapers. There's no like super nice gated neighborhood where you
yeah.
just get to have your own home.
I think there's a couple things there. One, I think that it's impossible for me to say because I'm only a 6 foot two, 210 pound unathletic man. So it's really hard for me to imagine being a basketball player
Okay.
professionally. But
Yeah.
let's imagine that I was a basketball player. And in my mind, if my life had gone away where I was so good at basketball that I was, the Steph Curry of Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and because I mean, we're like the same height basically. I think he might be a little taller than me, but
Okay.
or maybe shorter. Who knows? They kind of lie a lot. Uh, but but they lie either way, right? Like Kevin Durant is taller than he says he is, right? So
Yes, for
I'm
sure.
not saying I'm saying we're probably not the same size, even though we're listed as the same size because he's lying one way or the other.
Yeah.
Steph Curry does not tell the truth. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Um, but let's imagine I'm him. I just don't think if I were a professional athlete or even like basketball, football, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't think that I would get married until I was finished playing sports.
Oh, yeah. They all do though.
They do, but I think I would be different.
Uh,
I just
I
think. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's going to be different, but I just think to me, like I would be so focused on that, and would there would be like that's the thing. I mean, that's why I didn't want to go
Mm,
into sports reporting, is because you have to be on the road all the time, and I don't want to have a family if I'm on the road all the time,
yeah.
right? So like if I'm playing football every week or playing basketball every other day, I don't want to have a fan. That just seems terrible. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem fair to the family. So I would just like close myself off. Not happening. And
Well,
I got
I
really good at that at high school, so I could do it.
yeah. I'm just saying, play again.
Then it wasn't by then it wasn't by choice though. So
If I was playing devil's advocate, if you're in Houston and you live in the, nicest gated neighborhood of Houston,
mm,
you literally just like go play basketball all day, and then you come home to your like compound, and it's just your family's taking care of everything, and
yeah,
you don't have to worry about anything. Like, and you make enough money that you can like hire help, and I think a lot of that stuff becomes a lot easier if you're
I guess
making
so. That was going to be my other
$20
point
million
though,
dollars a year.
is there's been a basketball team in New York City since basketball was invented. I'm
Hmm.
fairly confident the people who run that team could find a place for you to live
Yeah,
that
it
you would
would
be
just be
comfortable.
different.
I guess so. I think they would like they're trying to make it as easy as possible for you. So I think that it would not be that hard. I think being a
Yeah,
basketball player is difficult. I think that or being a professional athlete in general is difficult, but I do think that like the whole point of having a whole apparatus around you is to make it as easy. Like Erling Haaland, the basketball or the soccer player for
yeah,
Manchester City.
yeah,
He started a new YouTube channel and he did like a day in the life of him. And they're like the like team trainer just comes to his house in the morning to stretch him out
yeah,
every day. They want to make it as simple as possible for you.
yeah.
Everything you do should be as everything is focused on sport. So you don't have to worry about anything. And in New York City, where they've been doing this for 70 years,
I agree.
they probably have a gated community you don't know about for their basketball players to live in.
I do think there are gated communities with mansions in New York. I just think they're like an hour and a half from the stadium because or wherever they practice. Maybe their practice facilities up north and they all practice there, but I just think it's like moving into like the home life, and we're talking about this too long, but like moving into the home life of wife and kids, I think it's easier to live in the spread out cities rather than the high rise communities of New York City.
All right. Well, tell us in the comments why you think Dave is wrong and I'm right,
Thank
please.
you.
And we will see you next time. We're going to talk about the Kentucky Colonels for the penultimate episode of the ABA
Ooh,
files.
heck yeah.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Peace.